used the old latch piece for the inside is just a backing plate to kind of give it some more support than you would normally have, and painted it trim black to kind of match the handle. So I got all that working earlier, and then we fixed the inside the door jamb so everything latches appropriately. So we come in here and got all this right. Had to put some shims behind here, so all that's done. So the goal for today is to basically finish this trailer up and be done with most of it. So if it has to come back to the house, it can basically just sit on the side of the road, hook to the truck. I can work on it for an hour or two, finish up whatever I have to do, and then take it back to the shop. So no more base camp style, like parking it in the driveway, running a drop cord to it, you know, dragging all these saws out, all that headache and nonsense. So that's the goal for today, is to pretty much finish it up. It was going to be the goal for a whole weekend, and I think we actually might be ahead of schedule. I think I might be able to get it done all today, which would be amazing, because then if it's not raining tomorrow, I can run to the shop, grab the Tahoe, bring it home. So we still have a long ways to go. That I also have wires. I don't know if we're going to make it, but I'm going to dive right in this morning. Go ahead and knock out the thing I'm dreading the most, the latches, the handles on the doors, and then move on to some of this wiring. So the door latches that we ended up getting, I got to figure out, are these right here. This is how they look. So they are a nice satin finish. So this is what they look like. They got a button to them. So I'm going to have to get them together, get them installed, and I'll show you how they work. All right, it might not be the cleanest looking thing, but it's right there, easy to get to. Doors right here, switches right here. I wanted it like that. That way, if you have the car in here and you have any issues, at least, and it's like pouring on the side of the road, at least you ain't gotta like be, you know, up underneath the cabinets, back the car out and all that stuff or whatever. So yeah, right there, nice and easy to get to. Wires are hid back there, but you can still plug that in. It's not clean. It's just a, you know, basic install. So we're gonna add this power inverter somewhere. I'm pretty sure we're gonna add this down there straight off of the battery. Just as a little backup one, in case for some odd reason you'll need, you know, 120 volts for some weird reason real quick on the road. But yeah, that's my thoughts. Move on to these door handles. Also went ahead and drilled a tie down in the corner, and of course I didn't really plan it out. Metal beam right there. So if I would have been that way just a little bit more, it would have worked fine, but of course that's my luck. So thinking, I mean, I kind of wanted it at a 45 a little bit anyway, so we're gonna put it like that so we can get 3 bolts through the plywood with some big washers so that it clears that. And I think this one I might go ahead and drill, and then drill on the bottom, and I'll have to probably order a really long bolt, because I bet the hardware store won't have it, and then probably put this one all the way through the main frame of the trailer and do another one on the other side. Here's my boogered up attempt an hour later at the first one. So I actually mounted it up here the first time, the button, and that was wrong. I got the in and out depth wrong for a couple different reasons, and so to cover that up, what I have done is moved our winch button right here, because I never drilled the holes up here for the winch button. I was going to cut this whole corner out for the winch button, which was going to look sloppy, so then I said I was going to drill holes. So this worked out fine. I broke a little piece of wood right here, so I glued it back in. We're going to let that dry this afternoon. We're going to come in here with a file, clean this all up, putty up these holes, and then repaint all this black. So it should look decent after it's painted black. And then I might even go back and make a piece of aluminum that goes over this or something. Maybe trim out a piece, who knows? I don't know yet. But so we moved it down here. I figured it kind of needed to be in the center anyway. Got it where it's working, but we messed it up again. So that time I said, dude, I said, screw this. I am not drilling another hole. So I took a jigsaw, fixed my mistake, moved it in even more, and got it where it's working now. I'm not a cabinet guy by any means. It takes me, you know, a couple tries to figure it out. I got it down pat. Don't think I'll make a mistake on the next one. But again, this afternoon, we will have to come in here with some caulking and, you know, caulk all this out, smooth all this out, and then trim this out with black, and you shouldn't really see it. Should be okay. But besides that, I mean, that holds pretty sturdy. I mean, it doesn't pop open. So I was getting frustrated with it and not happy with it at first, but now I'm definitely happy with it. I just feel like complete crap because it's freaking 2 o'clock already, and I haven't got much more done today. And I need to put one on there, one on there, one up there, and like 2 or at least 1 up there, probably 2 up there, honestly. And man, I just not a cabinet guy. Not looking forward to this, dreading this. I might end up taking a break and doing these tonight when it cools down. Well, it's after 4 o'clock, and I tell you what, it feels like that, honestly, I'm just making no ground, wasting my whole Saturday away. I said a minute ago that I thought I'd be wrapped up this Saturday, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen because there's still so much to do. So we're working on the door right now, about to throw it on. Went ahead and put the cubby on and a workbench on. Just got to finish it. Went ahead and mounted the cubby on. It's a little easier to do with the door laying flat, so you can make sure all your measurements are right since nothing's trying to fall off. It's just laying there. And then went ahead and built this table. So I just put it with a couple of rivets in it, and I'll actually have to have Mike probably add a little bit of welds to it just to make sure it stays sturdy and I don't have no issues. Obviously I messed up on my cut here, so we'll see if Mike can put a little bit of glob in there and fill that in. I could have probably actually went that one down a little bit more that way, but it is what it is. So it ain't gotta be perfect, but it's just gonna fold up like that. And then I'm thinking, I gotta figure it out. I'm thinking we'll just hook chains in here. I went ahead and drilled a hole. So we'll hook a chain into here. We could even go into here. I don't know. Somehow maybe put a chain where it holds it up. Actually, that's not bad now that I'm looking at it, because it's gonna be, this stuff is so thin. That's when I put all them screws in there. This stuff is so thin that I don't 100% trust it. So might take the chain and drill a little hole in here or something, or off this edge right here. That might work you know, really good. And then just have the chain where it's just hanging when you're not using it, and then you know, when you are using it, clip it in and you'll have a table. So these kits you can get from like Pit Pal that hangs on the trailer door, that has the little tiny fold out table, the little tiny cubby, and a little tiny paper towel holder. That thing's like $150, $180 depending on where you get it. It's like $180 on eBay. I just built that table out of scrap metal, and that one up there, I can't remember what that one was, but it wasn't that expensive. People just are made of money, I guess. Just throw it away, because that's how you wind up with a ton of money in a trailer, and you actually don't even get that much. You get this little tiny cubby that hangs off the door that's not even as big as this. You know, for not that much, you could build this stuff, y'all. So get in your garage and get some work done. Stop wasting money on stuff that you could do yourself. All right, so we got this area right here. The step right here is just, it's just seen better days to me, man. It's got glue all over it, epoxy, it looks like. It's loose, it's tore up. So I'm gonna try to see what I can do to clean this area up, take all this metal out, see if I can go cut some new strips of something, or maybe just clean up the diamond plate once I get these edges out. I don't really know exactly yet, but I'm gonna start taking some pieces off and see how we can improve this, because I just hate that the entryway to the trailer looks like it's been drugged through freaking Vietnam and back. All right, so got it all taken apart, man. That metal is just freaking wore out, dude. I mean, it's just freaking tore all up, man. I mean, it's just, in my opinion, this is like the front door to your house. This is the entryway into your trailer when you're at the racetrack. This is your home away from home. And I think it should be presentable. So we took over here and we grinded up all this glue that was here and gunk. Just took our angle grinder because it was a lot, way rougher than you would use a palm sander for. So also went ahead and leveled out this high spot because this was a little higher than that. That way, whenever I trim this out and I come back and paint it, hopefully it'll be nice and flush. And I'm still gonna screw off the floors and run the palm sander over the whole floor to make sure there's no super rough spot before we paint it. But I just want to focus this afternoon on this entryway and get it cleaned up. So I'm gonna get a measurement on some of these pieces and cut some nice fresh aluminum, and then we'll probably put down some grip tape right here just so that it's nice and shiny and just not so nasty looking like that diamond plate. That thing just seems better days. So let's get at it. All right, so there we go. And this time I went ahead and put you know, a decent amount more screws in it. Before they had screws all through all the trim, but the trim was super tacky because it was just freaking everywhere. So if you space your screws out nice and even, I just think that looks better than all the trim everywhere. I'm gonna grab some black silicone now and caulk out all these edges so they're nice and uniform, and then we'll take a wire wheel and clean up this lip right here inside of this door frame, because we have to put new tape on it anyway. We got to clean up all the lips, but we're just gonna go ahead and do this bottom, and then we might go ahead and straighten out some of these edges while we're right here at it, let our silicone dry. I think that looks a lot better, and like I said, we'll get some of that grip tape from like Harbor Freight, or we're probably going to order some for the floor in there. I just didn't talk about it last video, but we'll put some down in here so you have a nice grip tape, because this aluminum is obviously going to get scratched all up, so you don't want to paint it or anything. But now at least we have a nice clean surface to paint or stick our grip tape through right here through these screws. And I went ahead and also ran the sander over all these edges too, to just kind of freshen them up. So I think that entryway is a lot more welcoming now than it was before. It's a lot more welcoming, like I'm gonna invite you all over to stay the night or have a party in my trailer. Hey, you never know. Like I said, when you're at the track, this is your home away from home. In my opinion, it should be nice. All right, so we are working on the lights tonight. So I've already got the perimeter lights put up. The marker lights are on the top of the trailer. Got them all working. Wasn't gonna film till it's done. So I go to start working on the light bar. And I'm gonna tie the light bar into here. So it's already tied into where when you put the vehicle in reverse, it comes on to light up behind the trailer so you can see what you're doing backing up. But then I also wanted it so that you could turn it on to load the car. So it was like a pit light behind the trailer. So I said, okay, we'll just pull a wire off the switch right here, run it back to the reverse light. This switch comes off the 12-volt battery in the trailer. So when you throw power to it, it should come on. So I run the wire all the way back. I'm tugging on it a little hard through zip ties that are already there. So I kind of like barely get it through, and then I'm pulling on it. So get it back there and I don't have no power. So I'm checking the voltmeter and everything, no power. So I'm like, okay, well maybe I literally ripped the strands of wire in half. So I go undo the other wire, the rest of the wire that I have, and I've checked the switch. The switch is putting out 8 point and some change on the switch. When you flip it on, I guess the battery's low on voltage. And then when you hook a wire to the top of the switch, the other end of the wire doesn't have nothing hardly. Like when it was down there, strung across the trailer, it had nothing. I bring it all back here, clump it up like on the floor, and I'm getting like anywhere between 1 point something and 2 point something. So I'm really thinking this wire is bad. All right, so I about burnt the trailer down. So I crispied a wire. Let me tell you what I did. So I went to try to figure out all this stuff, and I said, okay, well maybe the light bar is not working because the light bar is grounded to the trailer with a screw, and I didn't actually run a ground from the battery to the trailer. I never did that. I just have hooked everything up kind of off the battery. So technically, when the trailer's not plugged into a vehicle, which it's not right now, the trailer's not grounded because the battery is not grounded to the trailer. So I said, okay, let's just put a little wire from the fuse block, screw it into the frame of the trailer. As soon as I touched it to the trailer, it sparked. And I was like, that don't make no sense. You can touch ground wires all day long in a vehicle when you're working on your car and stuff like that. And as long as the item's not on, it don't spark. Like that don't make no sense. So I said, okay, I'll unplug the battery. I said, and then hook the ground up. I checked a couple things with the voltmeter. Everything looked okay. So I unplugged the battery, put the ground on, put the battery cable back on the ground side on the battery, start tightening it down, and I'm just smelling like burning. The hot side's getting really hot on the battery. So I'm like, what the crap? So I take the hot off, take the ground side back off, and then look up there, and the wire is smoked. It's completely smoked. So it's 11 o'clock at night. I just get on the phone with Mike. I mean, this thing, Smokey the Beard. Get on the phone with Mike, and he thinks it's coming through the jack. So I'm about to check the jack. When I hook the jack up, I think there's a black wire coming off the jack, and I hooked it to the black side of the battery. I told y'all that switching back and forth between all this crap, sometimes I have to remember what's going on, and like with the little LED lights, the black side is the hot. When you put it in the battery, like a drill battery, the black wire to the positive and the white wire to the negative, I think it's a white wire, on the little tiny LED lights it works with the black wire in the positive side of the drill battery and the white wire in the negative side of the drill battery. If you flip it, them little LED lights don't work. So when I hooked the jack up, I just did black to black. Black off the jack, black wire on the jack to the ground side. The weird thing is that everything has worked. I've had no issues until I just try to connect the ground side of the fuse block to the trailer frame. That's where I have an issue. So spoke with Mike, and Mike thinks that I have reverse polarity. He says that he believes, or that them jacks, he said they will run off reverse polarity because it's just like a little motor in there. It turns one way or the other. He was explaining this stuff, goes over my head. Anyway, he said that he thinks that the jack is supposed to be, the bolts on the jack is ground, and that the wire coming off the jack is supposed to be to the hot side of the battery, not the other side. I still at this moment cannot wrap my head around how like everything works, but then when I connect that ground, it sparks. And you're probably not gonna be able to explain it in a comment. Maybe Mike can explain it Monday again. So we're gonna go up here and I'm gonna trace my wires of what I did on the front and try to figure this out before I burn this trailer down. But it's crazy to me. I've had the battery charger on the battery down here all weekend, no issues. The winch works, no issues, which the winch is tied directly into the battery, but I just don't understand, like, how has nothing like burned up or smoked, or how has there been no warning signs, you know, until you hook the ground side of the fuse block to the trailer. So it is going on freaking 11:40. Just got off the phone with Mike again. Mike was editing a YouTube video for y'all, by the way. So I put the jack wire. The jack only has one wire that comes off of it, and it's black. So I took that off the positive or negative side of the battery, and I moved the jack black wire to the positive battery terminal, and the jack does not work now at all. Get back on the phone with Mike. He's like, not sure. He said, have you checked your voltmeter? I'm like, not yet, doing that now. So I checked the voltmeter, and off the negative terminal, the negative side of the battery, I don't remember which way the terminal was, but I had negative voltage, and then when I put it on the other side, I had positive voltage. Anyway, so the polarity was like reversed, but we still didn't know where I had messed up at. So I have wires that come in off of the junction box on the front of the trailer, on the tongue of your trailer. You have a junction box, or this one does, for that plugged into the vehicle, and then all the rest of the wires feed all the lights and everything in the trailer, just like any other trailer. But off of that junction box, I have wires that come into the battery of the trailer. That way the jack has power, you know, and everything else should have power off the battery. So I have inside my junction box, I have my white wires all hooked together, my black wires all hooked together. And then when it comes in the vehicle, black is ground, so I have my black on my negative side of the battery, my white wire on the positive side of the battery. There's the problem. So if you remember a couple videos back when we were wiring this trailer, I said, well, we think that's the problem. I said that it's so annoying going back and forth from 120 volts residential to 12 volts, you know, automotive. And even just got the phone with Mike, and he was like, yeah, when he wired his shop, he had to keep reminding himself that he's so used to 12 volts. It's obvious, it's backwards, because I have done more residential than I have done car wiring, because car wiring is not my strong point. So anyway, yeah, we're gonna flip the wires, put the white wire on the negative side of the battery and the black wire on the positive, because on your junction box, your black wire is your hot and your white wire is your negative. I don't understand why, when whoever comes up with all this electrical stuff for residential, commercial, automotive, marine boat, why can't we have the black just ground all the way across the board? Like, just common. In a lot of applications, red is your hot. When you get a lot of aftermarket stuff, you get a red wire for hot, black wire for negative. Like if you get some little junk from Advanced Auto Parts. So it's like, why is that? Like, why do suppliers, even this light bar up here, the red wire comes off the light bar, that's your hot, and then the black wire that comes off the light bar is the negative. But then down here on the, you know, the trailer lighting and stuff, our black wire now all of a sudden is a hot and not a ground. So I've had it. Today's not been my day. I feel like I can't make any freaking grounds with this trailer hardly. So and here you can see right here where my wires run in from my trailer. So it's this yellow wire that goes up to the junction box. You know, out of the yellow wire comes this white wire that's right here, and sure enough I've got it on that side and I've got all the blacks on that side. So let's flip this and see if this fixes our problem. All right, yes, that worked. Our jack is back working. How was everything working before this? I have no freaking clue. All I can tell you is this is the reason why my race car is with Chris Moore getting wired, because I'm not trying to screw nothing up. Now let's run our wire to our LED light bar and let's see if we have an LED light bar now, finally. Whew. All right, got my lights back, which this what's weird is them under cabinet lights have worked perfectly fine the whole time, which I mean, I didn't also wasn't trying to ground this fuse block to the actual trailer either. As soon as I try to ground this fuse block to the trailer, that's where everything went south. So I have my wire now, and as you can see, now we freaking have an LED light bar that is on a switch for loading our race car up out here. So this is what it looks like. That's how bright it is back here with that LED light bar up there. So that's all I wanted this whole time. That's all I wanted, is just to all this work. This is the reason why I can't get nothing done, because I'm stupid, because I'm a freaking idiot. So we are going to have to wrap this for tonight. Didn't make no grounds, or didn't make as much grounds as I wanted to. Our door looks good with all of our accessories in here. And the cool thing is you can actually fold this open while you're in here if you needed a little trailer. Because I'm serious, if we were somewhere and it was like at night and you couldn't hardly see what you were doing and I needed to work on that car, I would literally pull that car in here. Like, understand I don't have the width, but I'd pull it where the front end's about right here so that I have all the tables and toolboxes, and you could flip this little one up so you got this one off to the side if you needed to. But you could still obviously open and close the door and all that nonsense. Maybe if it was raining between rounds and you wanted to pull it in here and just check under the hood or whatever, I would do it. So that's why I kind of like having all this set up where you can work out of the trailer if you need to. I understand you can't really walk around the car, that the width is gonna be there, but anyways, so it's midnight. I'm going to bed. I still have to shower, still have to edit this video and still get it out to y'all. And then I'm probably gonna be sleeping in the morning, dead, and little Harper's gonna be running around downstairs saying, "Where's Daddy? Daddy? Where's Daddy?" Well, Daddy stayed up all night freaking editing YouTube videos to have them out to y'all the next day. So dedication. I'm dedicated to this, y'all. If y'all don't know. So I'm gonna go in for tonight. Make sure you smash that bell button for me. Make sure you subscribe. Hopefully tomorrow we'll make a little bit more grounds, get this mess cleaned up, because I don't want to bring this trailer home again for this big of mess. Like, comment, subscribe, and share, and I will catch you on the next update video.